Game Freak is trying something new with Pokémon Sword and Shield. Rather than a third version where players replay the main game with new additions and tweaks, they're taking the ideas they have and creating a DLC expansion in the form of the Isle of Armor and the upcoming Frozen Tundra. It's a solid idea on paper as it cuts out the need to replay everything again, but now that the Isle of Armor is out, does the experiment work? You begin the Isle of Armor by receiving the Armor Pass, allowing you to travel from the Wedgehurst station all the way to a near-deserted island off the coast of Galar, the titular Isle of Armor. As soon as you arrive, you're mistaken for a new student of the island's dojo and get pulled into their traditions. After all, the leader of the dojo trained the champion Leon himself. There's also a new rival that, depending on the version, takes the form of either Clara or Avery, who present themselves as helpful but are rather cutthroat. From there, it becomes a competition among the students as you work through trials, train the new Pokemon Kubfu, and eventually learn how to make it Gigantamax. It's a cute story with likable characters that works well as an additional adventure. There aren't any real stakes as it's mostly about self-improvement, and yet it's impressive just how many of the story sequences have a bit more life to them now, with Kubfu's introduction being a particular standout. Really, the story is all about obtaining Kubfu and helping it reach its full potential. It doesn't make for essential storytelling, but there is a bit of pride seeing this Pokemon take shape under my teaching and decisions. There is quite a bit to do on the Isle of Armor, and I enjoyed exploring it. It's treated like the wild area of the main game, meaning I had full camera control the entire time. But rather than the wide open and empty space from before, there are now caves, forests, marshes, and even small islands dotted in the ocean to visit. It felt like I was actually discovering these places rather than just seeing them in the distance and meandering over. It's a great step forward and makes me hopeful that the Frozen Tundra, as well as subsequent Pokemon generations, will take the concept even further. It certainly made finding and catching all the new returning Pokemon more exciting. Yes, they may all be from previous generations, but this marks the first time they're available in Sword and Shield. The Galar Slowpoke line and Kubfu are the only truly new Pokemon here. Despite that, I still got the thrill of seeing and catching many of these old returning Pokemon. I mean, the formula just works. Beyond Pokemon, items and TRs are spread everywhere too, with some of the more typically rare items in the main game being easier to find. Speaking of items, there's a new machine called the Cram-O-Matic that allows players to combine 4 items to make a brand new one. This includes the returning Apricorns from Gen 2 that can be made into unique Pokeballs. It's not something I used a lot as I didn't find it necessary, but once combinations are more widely known, it should be a great tool for more serious players. However, my favorite new addition is the Max Soup. This can be fed to Pokemon with the potential to Gigantamax, unlocking the form, making it much easier to obtain them than in the core game. It is necessary to find Max Mushrooms to make the Max Soup, but these become more plentiful as you fight in Max Raid battles. There are other activities as well, such as hunting down 150 Alolan Diglett across the Isle to receive Alolan forms, finding Armorite to teach brand new moves to your Pokemon, and using Watts to spruce up the dojo. Once the main story is finished, you'll unlock Restricted Sparring, in which you'll bring a team of 3 Pokemon of the same type and fight across 5 opponents with limited healing. It certainly provides a challenge, but I didn't find it to be much of a draw. These types of battles have never been my thing as I have to spend time crafting specific teams. It should also be mentioned that the Isle does scale to match your level, somewhat. My team was around level 80 while wild Pokemon were all in their 60s. The same applied to the few trainers you fight, making most of them an afterthought, but thankfully by the final battle, my rival's Pokemon were around 75, providing some challenge. There are only a handful of trainer battles here though, so them being under my level didn't feel like a big deal as it wasn't the focus of the story. Presentation-wise, the graphics are about on par with the main game, which isn't really a surprise. That said, the new animations for certain characters are nice to look at, with some surprisingly smooth movements, and the Isle of Armor is much bigger than I imagined, allowing for plenty of exploration. But if you weren't a fan of the original game's presentation, this probably won't change your mind. I do like that Pokemon can eventually follow you again while on the island, even if Phalanx here wasn't exactly built for slopes. The new music in the game is great across the board and really embraces the feeling of training in a dojo. Mustard's battle theme in particular made me perk up as soon as I heard it. The Isle of Armor DLC is pleasant. I enjoyed running around catching the new Pokémon. I like how the aisle itself is designed. I like that there are a few new haircuts and clothes items and even the return of following Pokémon. I like the Isle of Armor. It doesn't feel essential, but if you want to dive back into the world of Pokémon without having to redo the main game, this is a great option. It honestly makes me more excited for the Frozen Tundra and what it might bring to the table. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to Game Explained for more on Pokémon and other things gaming.